My husband and I were looking for a new car. I wanted a regular car, and he wanted a convertible. It was 74 degrees outside and sunny, and he got mad at me for opening the sunroof in my car. The sun was burning his face, he said. We did not buy a convertible. I told him my best friend and I were planning a trip to Australia. After telling him how long the flights would be, he said, "You guys don't want to drive there? We live in Canada." My ex and I had a big fight over birds being mammals. It was late at night, and she was insisting, because she used to be a marine biologist major, that birds are mammals because they are warm-blooded. I knew they were warm-blooded, but I had to get up out of bed and use dial-up internet to prove they had their own category. Birds. My ex and I were getting frisky when he suddenly jerked upright and exclaimed, "Oh my God, I felt a lump." My nipple. He felt my nipple and thought it was a cancerous lump. I'm a male. My date wanted to know when I was on my period so that we could have sex. She would not get pregnant. She was over 25 years old. A friend introduced me to one of her roommates, and we hit it off really well. I went to pick her up to go to a concert a few weeks into our relationship, and she was still getting ready, so her roommates let me in. They were all smiling and kind of giggling when I walked in, and there was a strange smell in the air. After a few minutes of small talk, her roommate, my friend, couldn't hold back any longer and walked me to the kitchen to show me something. I looked at the stove to see a plastic bowl melted to the burner. My date had tried to make mac and cheese, unsupervised on the stove, using a plastic bowl to heat the water. She was having a debate with an employee and finally said, "Vietnam isn't a coonery, it's a war." I was cooking rice, and my ex-husband asked how the rice multiplies. I asked what he meant. He thought the rice multiplied to fill up the pot. When Charles Whitman committed mass murder using rifles atop the clock tower of the University of Texas in 1966, my then GF said, "They should ban towers, not guns, towers." My ex, who was Hitler's romantic partner, he confidently answered with Anne Frank, the reason why he is an ex. In my early 20s, I started living with my boyfriend at the time. I got my period. He demanded to know what I had done with the egg. Folks, this 21-year-old man whose mother was a nurse and who had a sister that had just given birth to twins thought that human women laid an egg when they got their period. Not sure if she's the idiot or her friend. She got a tattoo from her friend with the word angle on it. Obviously, it was supposed to say angel. My ex-girlfriend told me, "It's crazy how you can hear the sun buzzing on hot summer days." She thought the sun was responsible for the sounds cicadas make. Google had an April Fool's joke one year where if you lick your phone screen, you can actually taste the object of what's being displayed on the screen. Needless to say, she did it several times and said it didn't work. She said that the temperature in her house never changed, so she couldn't understand why she was always hot, cold. She had never taken the packaging off of the digital thermometer, so she was just looking at a sticker that said 72 degrees. When I mentioned that a particular restaurant made their own pickles, and he firmly corrected me, informing me that pickles grow on bushes. An ex dropped me off for the first day at a job. He was late picking me up, and when I called 30 minutes after my closing shift to see what was up, he said it was because the car was stolen. I called to find another ride, so a friend came to get me instead. My ex-slash had driven across the street to get a soda and walked home. He forgot the car. We saw it on the way back to the apartment. Ex of my best friend thought that an online cloud is located in the actual clouds and was really concerned about his data getting lost when it started raining. Dude was 19 and working in trades. I once briefly dated a guy who thought sweetened coffee had 0 calories because the sugar has dissolved, so it's not there. He asked my grandmother if she'd ever had children. I told him I had to leave in 1.5 hours. He told me that was oddly specific, and I should have rounded up to 2 hours instead of 1 hour and 0 minutes. I clarified that I had to leave in 1 hour and 30 minutes, and he said that's actually 1.3 hours. What kind of bird is a ham? Was hard to ignore. How do oil companies know where to build gas stations? She thought that there was a gasoline bubble underground that they would tap into and run a line straight to the pump. She was working for Chevron. Having to listen to her tell me Jesus wasn't Jewish and was in fact raised Catholic. First date with this guy. Hi, can I have a slushie? Worker. Sure, what flavor? You know, a slushie. Worker. Yes, but what flavor for you want? I just want a slushie. Like a regular slushie? Worker. Okay, but sure, a regular slushie. Order is brought out, he takes a drink and goes, I think this is just ice. It has no flavor. I thought it was so funny that they gave him a plain slushie instead of just defaulting to like cherry or something. I could have helped explain to him while he was ordering, but I was too stunned to speak. Well, I married him and then we moved out of state. On the drive to our new place, we stopped at a gas station that sold lottery tickets. They weren't a thing in our home state at the time. He came running out of the gas station, waving his ticket, saying he won $5. I asked him how much money he spent to win $5. He proudly told me $20. We were divorced within a few years. I had an ex literally call me to ask me how to make pasta from a box, and then asked what equipment he needed to do it. He was 35. I was also the idiot for dating him. Partner once said the earth is getting lighter because we mine materials out of the ground. Went to the museum on a date, and she was laughing when we got to the dinosaur bones. I asked what was so funny, and she confidently said that dinosaurs never existed. She thought they didn't exist because she had seen them in cartoons, so they couldn't possibly be real. She was 22. While living on the East Coast, I had a lunch date with a New Yorker who was the embodiment of the famous New Yorker magazine cover about a New York resident's idea of U.S. geography. When I told him I was from Minnesota, he paused for a moment and asked, "Does Minnesota have a seacoast?" After spending a few seconds in shock at his ignorance, I said, "Not in this geological era." I took her out to dinner, gave her 2 options, an Italian restaurant or just like a regular restaurant where they served all kinds of stuff. She said she really hated Italian food, so we went to the regular restaurant, where she ordered a lasagna. Not technically dating, but I was talking to this guy. He came over and was in my room while I was in the bathroom. He looked in my side table and found condoms. He left before I came out of the bathroom. I got a text that I was a whore because I had condoms. I didn't realize that having condoms just in case made me a whore. I just really didn't want to get pregnant and was being precautious, just in case something happened between us. I definitely feel like I dodged a bullet on that one. FYI, women can buy condoms too. He confidently stated that when a woman has a thigh gap, it's because she's had a lot of sex.